Yes. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Deep Dive series May edition. As we all know, once we're about to get on board, our emojis needs to start flowing in. All right. For the last series, which was April series, we had a session with Mr. Rajesh where he spoke to us about enabling responsible AI through data, and it was really an extensive session where we were spoken to about why responsible AI is essential now, the foundation role of data, key data centric risks, best practices to mitigate those risks, real world case studies, good and bad, framework and toolkits for practical implementation, and the road ahead. To get more details, more insights about the last edition, you can check us out on YouTube at Legacy Lab NG. And you can also follow us on other social media handles at Legacy Lab NG, while on Instagram at Legacy Lab dot ng. All right, for tonight, which is the May edition, we are have we have Mr. Abiodun Shittu, senior MLE, and it will be enlightening us on AI, the arts, the Fox, and frenzy. That's a whole lot. You're welcome, Mr. Abiodun Shittu. Kindly take the mic. Oh, before you do that, sorry, kindly hold on. Before you do that, there is a tradition here. Whenever our speaker is about to come on board, you have to send in emoji. So every attendee right now, let's do the needful. The more the emojis, the more our speaker is going to come on board. Like, yeah. That's nice. Exactly. Now, Mr. Shittu, you can actually come in. You're welcome.
All right, hi everyone. Good evening. Just about as I've been introduced, Abiodun Shittu. I'm a senior machine engineer. It's just a big title at the end of the day. All I'm doing is training models. So I'll be talking on AI, the works, the Fox, and the frenzy. So the entire aim of everything we're talking about in the next 30 to 40 minutes is about navigating the realities and the hype of artificial intelligence. What is true, what is not true, what is AI itself, right? How should we use AI? Sorry, I forgot to say that. I'm already used to it always happens, right? Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? That's now. So I think you can also my screen now. Navigating the realities and the hype of artificial intelligence. So first of all, one question that should come to mind is what is AI, right? What is AI in itself? So AI, first of all, we know about the hype of AI, AI this, AI that. They say, okay, AI is going to take our jobs, AI is here, AGI is here, and all of that gibberish. So what is AI itself? IBM, one of the biggest names in the tech market, they defined AI as the technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. At the end of the day, what they're just trying to say is that AI is mimicking the human intelligence, right? It's artificial intelligence, basically the ability of a human to make decisions, the ability to solve a problem based on patterns that they've learned or they've seen before, right? Like if you look at your simple algebra equations, when you learn to solve an algebra equation the first time, the second time, by the third time, you don't have to be writing a lot of things down again. You can just look at it and okay, say, okay, this is here's the answer, that kind of thing. So that's what the entire AI thing is about. Like that's usually it. So it's basically a combination of mathematical and statistical algorithms that model the data on which they are trained, right? So we say it's AI, but at the end of the day, it's like your normal computer is like your garbage in, garbage out. If you train it on this model, all it does is to learn the patterns. All it does is learn the patterns in that model, and when it sees something similar, right? It's when you give it a new when you give it a new call them data points. When you give it a new data point, it's based on the patterns that it has learned. Sometimes it cramps. It depends on how lucky, I won't say lucky, but it depends on how you do it. So it depends on the patterns that it has learned and cramped. I like to say cramped because a lot of times this is a cramped. It depends on those patterns that it can now give an output. For example, now, but a lot of things, there are a lot of things that people do not know that they are AI. A lot of things people do not know they are AI. But I want to give a common example of AI. A very, very common example that we've all been using for years and we've not known is this Shazam, right? That's our search engine. Are you familiar with Shazam? Are you familiar with Shazam? I would like to even see probably the reactions and stuff to know I'm not just talking to myself. So your Shazam, for example, now that's application where you hear a new song. Probably you're just walking by on the street and they are playing a song in probably the barber shop or one store beside you. You like the song, right? You open Shazam, you press that button. Now it listens to the song and then it tells you what that song is. That thing is AI. That's artificial intelligence. It's a field called sound recognition. Okay, that's AI. Shazam has been existing for how long? Before ChatGPT, before started hearing AI, this AI, that. That's AI. The antivirus that we use, your malware detection, that's AI. We've been using antivirus for ages. Your McAfee, Avast, AVG, those things too are AI. But why were they not crazy about it back then? I think that's the question. Since there was not this frenzy about AI this back then, they've been existing for how long? So why now? These are questions that will answer as we go on. So, so we say, our topic is still our topic, sorry. It will be in three parts: the odds, the false, and the frenzy. So let's talk about the odds now. These are the false beliefs about AI. First of all, I would let me first go with AI will take our jobs. I like this one. I like this one a lot. AI will take our jobs. AI is here, this and that. So AI is it's not necessarily taking your job. It's basically automating a lot of things. And if your job is something that can be automated, then there won't be a need for you again, right? But then when a task is automated, that means less is to be done on that side. But there are also other things ahead that will need to be done. Like for example, now in this in vehicle industries, like vehicle factories, so where they piece together vehicles, where they do the mounting of vehicles, they bring in the engine, the car, the doors, and all of those things. A lot of it is automated. A lot of it is automated. So it makes it faster for them to couple several vehicles in a day. But if several vehicles are being coupled in a day, that means more vehicles need to be tested, right? So that means they will need to employ more people to test the vehicles, even though they've laid off a lot of the staff that are coupling the vehicles together. Instead of doing manually, they have machines doing it now. But if machines are doing it, then more batches will be created like faster in the day and more batches need to be tested. So basically, while it's automating tasks and people are losing their jobs because tasks have been automated, it's also creating new roles for people. It's transforming some roles, right? It transforms some roles, and it's in this way, in this little way of automation and transformation, it's not only enhancing productivity and efficiency, but it's also, I would like to say, it's giving more color to what humans are capable of doing. Yes, it's giving more color to what humans are capable of doing. I know a lot of us will remember this. There was this trending conference back then where they said they created AI that can now fully code a website from start to finish. I think they called it Devin or something. That's a very good example of the odds. I'm just saying, like, I just want to give that example. Yeah, that's what's built under AGI. I'm supposed to give an idea, but I like to give it here. But let's assume that that thing actually succeeded. Let's assume that that AI succeeded. If humans did not have to build the websites again, they did not have to write the code, right? In a software development company, there are people that write codes, there are people that review codes, right? There are people that review codes, there are people that test the softwares that have been built. So if AI is already doing the writing, then the people can just focus on the building, the testing, sorry. If AI is writing the code, you can just focus on the testing of the software that has been built. They can focus on reviewing the code, right? Because left to me, I don't think AI is taking any software developers jobs in the next 2 to 3 years. They are not that advanced. They are not that advanced. So it can't do what humans can do. Like based on this, still on this topic of AI will take our jobs. For jobs that require the actual spice of the human intelligence, which is creativity, AI cannot take that kind of job. You get what I'm saying? It can't take that kind of job. If my job requires me to find, probably now I should create new designs. You get creating new designs for probably a flyer for an interface, product design, UI UX. AI cannot take that kind of job because what they basically do is they learn from the existing data points to create new ones. Like this PowerPoint now, this PowerPoint I'm using is created with Gamma AI. You know, we all know Gamma AI. I think we all know Gamma AI. But if you notice Gamma AI, when you try to generate a full slide using Gamma AI, when you try to generate a full slide using Gamma AI, all it does is just give you the same pattern over and over again with separate colors. But I want us to look beyond that. You get like look beyond leaving everything to AI because this is this kind of pattern that makes people think AI can take their jobs. If all of humans decide to use AI the way it is being used, like not doing anything and just pouring the work into the AI, what it is you pour it out. That is the kind of job that AI will take. I don't know if what I'm saying is making any sense. But let's move on. Another hoax that I will talk about is AGI here. So AGI is basically artificial general intelligence. Artificial general intelligence is it's still a theoretical concept, is still a myth at this moment. You get it's like a dream to us. It doesn't exist yet, and we haven't found a way to make it because we as humans are still yet to understand our own existence. Science cannot explain the consciousness of man. It can the individuality or sorry, the individuality of not just man but animals, the way everyone is different, everyone thinks differently, everyone functions differently. You know, that's the concept of the human mind. AI is yet, as I said, AI. Science is yet to Science is yet to understand that, is yet to comprehend it. And so if we cannot comprehend that, AGI cannot exist because we have to first comprehend it before we can recreate it, right? So AGI doesn't exist. And the only kind of AI that can actually take our jobs or take over the world is AGI because it can at that point replace human beings, right? At that point, it can replace human beings. So it doesn't exist. It can't take our job. If you've watched the movie iRobots or if you played Detroit, the game, I think you will see AGI there. It's basically all these. And even in the movie iRobots, you remember Will Smith was asking the robots that can a robot convert words? Can it take words and paint a picture from just words? Or can it tell a story with plain words? Can it tell a story? Can it convert emotion? Can it transfer emotions through words? And the AI did not answer, though it gave a sarcastic reply. But um, what I'm saying is AGI, it doesn't exist. The things that human can do, that's what they want AI to be able to do. And if AI can do that, it will be called AGI, artificial general intelligence, which means not only can it like think on its own the way humans think, it will be able to create from nothing. Humans have the ability to create something from nothing, right? you will see someone that wrote a poem. They wrote a poem from scratch. Like they did not write it from reading other people's poems. They wrote their own for the first time. They wrote a poetry work for a story. You see a 6 year old or a 3 year old writing a story, not from what they've read, but an entire story that they made up in their minds. Right? That's the human intelligence. So AGI, so AGI is a concept that tries to mimic the human intelligence. And if you remember in I think January or December, January 2025 or December 2024, the CEO of AVTR was saying something like AGI is here. And then you began to see all the AI experts, even the godfather of AI came out to say that AGI does not exist. It's a far-fetched concept. It's even in the distant future, it won't exist. All of these things that they were doing it was basically for it to build the hype for more investments and all of those things. All of it was a market strategy. That's it. It has all been market strategies. So still on the heels of it, I would like to go back to this. So they say that AI inherits biases. Like if you learn if around December last year you tried to use the meta llama to generate an image, you will notice that it was always generating the images with a black person. I don't know if anyone noticed that. If you notice, you can probably drop a message in call, or you can just react to an emoji. Anyone? Okay. Probably I will carry on. I will carry on. Well, basically, a bias is basically um how do I say? Yeah, a bias as it sounds is the model tipping to one side of the scale, right? So AI models they learn from vast data sets, and if the data sets reflect human biases present in society, the AI will perpetuate and amplify these biases. Basically, if you are training a model to generate images, and 80% of the images that you give it to generate are images of white people, then if you ask it to generate a new image, if it generates an image of a white person, like it's to be expected, what you gave it is what it will give back to you. Do you understand? So that's still on. And so people came out then to say Meta AI was racist and this and that. Okay, it's better with white people. Basically, anything you ask people is generating an image of a white person for you. And so Meta AI was they were trying to prevent that. So they added um, some kind of control structures to their prompts, which now made it tip entirely to black people. And so they were saying, okay, the AI has inherited the social bias. Racism is a social bias. So they began to say, okay, AI is this, AI is that, and that AI might probably, when it becomes sentient, that means when it gains its own intelligence, it might disfavor, I like to say disfavor black people or the white people, all those kind of gibberish. And so AI is the magic bullet. That's another hoax I will try to um let's say it. AI is a magic bullet. People will be like, AI can do everything. AI cannot do everything. It can only do what it is trained to do because essentially things are mathematical algorithms, right? And what they do is to model data. So it's only what you train it to do, what you teach it to do, that it can do. So when you try to make it do something that it has never been trained to do, what it will do is to hallucinate. If you didn't teach me to do something and you forced me to do it or you asked me to do it, I will do whatever comes to my mind, right? That's the same thing with AI. It's the same exact thing with AI. Large language models, especially when you ask them for something they have no knowledge of, they tend to do something we call hallucination. Hallucination is basically the model saying things that it doesn't know or that don't exist. Like when you ask it for something, let's say for example now a model that I find soon for therapy, right? If I find soon a model for therapy and I'm not asking it about programming, it doesn't know what I'm talking about. So what it should do is to start saying gibberish. That's hallucination. So AI is usually domain focused. It's usually domain focused. When you ask it something outside of what it has been trained, it hallucinates. So AI is not a magic bullet. It can only do what it is trained to do. So AI will take over everything. This is in concordance with past with the previous 2 points. First of all, AGI and AI being a magic bullet. And I I chose to use this picture here. It's a bit funny, but if you watch the movie, I think you understand this particular film here. This is where it was talking about. This is where it was talking about the abilities of humans and artificial intelligence. Basically, this is a robot, right? That when it's the hardware is called a robot, and the software is called artificial intelligence. So this AI robot here, and let me just put it like that. This AI robot here was conversing with the human, and they were asking each other what can AI do? What can humans do? So AI cannot take over everything, but even in this movie, AI took over the city. So that was because it was AGI, but even the AGI was not powerful enough. It wasn't entirely AGI, right? So it was just trained on a lot of things. So AI cannot take over everything. AI cannot chop wood. AI cannot turn on my gas and cook indomie for me at 11 p.m. AI cannot take over everything. AI cannot. It can't write even write my code at all. Do you understand? Like if AI has written code for you before and you not get headache, I don't know. You have to be a really lucky person. So AI cannot take over everything. Do you get what I'm saying? AI has written code for me before. Not even I wrote code. I wrote a code. I gave it to it to extend the functionality of the code. And what it gave me back, like gave me headache for like extra 2 days. So that AI cannot, the AI that me I'm seeing now, it can't take over everything. It cannot take over everything. And these AIs, they are being trained on our data. And I said, your AI has to be trained on data for it to be able to do something. So most of these AI that can generate codes, they've been trained on data. On whose data? Is my data. The rubbish code that is on my GitHub is what to train the model on, and you expect the model to be good. If that AI cannot take over everything, I wrote the rubbish that is on GitHub that I used to train it. So it can't take over everything. You get what I'm saying? So the these are just the between here and there. So the folks, the constructing the artificial eye. Um I would like to talk about something that we call what's that cycle? There's the um sorry, I can't remember the term for this cycle, but I'll just want to explain that the current perception of AI is heavily influenced by a significant hype cycle, foiled by the exaggerated claims of majorly founders, majorly not even the developers. It's usually the claims of the founders that are basically seeking people's investments. So understanding this cycle is actually crucial to differentiate between genuine progress and inflated expectations. Remember how I talked about Wang, the CEO of NVIDIA, talking about AGI, and then if you remember the founders of Devin AI, they came out to say that AI can now write a full website, front end, back end, like write the entire thing. So all of these things, these are inflated expectations. They are exaggerating the claims. They're exaggerating the claims so that they can get investment, right? They lie to you and you buy their shares. It's more money in their pockets. They are happy to have that. So this is the thing, it's just market hype. So we have the innovation trigger. First of all, like I'm talking about the cycle now. It goes from 1 to 5, then back to one. Because usually there's always a crash and then it starts all over again. So, at the beginning, we had the first breakthrough for AI, like in probably the past 5 years, was the GPT-2. Yes, the GPT 2.0. That's the one that ChatGPT started with. So after the breakthrough from GPT-2, the majority of the tech markets began to focus on AI. And that was what built the initial hype. Because that's what builds the initial interest in artificial intelligence once again. Because I think the AI has been existing for close to probably close to 30 or 50 years right now. If you check the godfather of AI, is now extremely old. You get what I'm saying? He has been existing for long, for decades. So the initial breakthrough that sparked this interest was the GPT-2. And then a lot of tech companies started to delve into the field of AI. And from there, we began to have early success stories that basically this early success stories, the kind of images that they were portraying was actually that of enthusiasm. Not that a lot of them were lying, not that they actually meant to lie, but they were having unrealistic projections. Like I told you in 2024, one said by 2027 we will have AGI. Because it was being too enthusiastic because it was getting a lot of funds. I mean, Nvidia stocks grew by how many percent? 100 and something percent. That's good money. As a founder, you know that's good money. You get so when you touch some kind of money, you start to make some kind of dangerous claims. That was the problem with Nvidia, and some of them were extremely delusional, like Jeff I would honestly say they were extremely delusional. So we talk about the trough of disillusionment. Basically, failures and unmet expectations cause interest to wane. Like Gemini, a lot of people began to withdraw their investments. Um, Even in 2025 now, currently, right? Currently, like this cycle is usually not for the entire industry, but in a way, a part of it will actually focus on the individual companies within it. So there was a short trough of disillusionment from in 2023. Yes, in 2023. Yes, 2023. Towards the end of 2023, I think, when some people were launching, yes, the Meta Llama, when they dropped Llama 2, Llama 2 was rubbish. So people were starting to think, this might be the best of AI. Get a little bit. And then they began to focus on, a lot of the companies began to focus on the application of AI in 2024. That was when people dropped the notebook LM. And it was beautiful, it was bright, everywhere was clear. You get so people began to focus on applying the AI instead of like building new ones. And then we had the phase of productivity, which is the mainstream adoption and the stable proven value. Now, if you open your Airtel app, you see AI there. If you open GT Bank, you see AI there. If you open VS Code, you have Copilot there. It has been adopted, integrated into almost everything. If you search on Google, before you see the web pages, you see AI there. Same thing on Microsoft Edge. Before you see your web page, you see AI there. AI puts these LLMs everywhere. It's no longer mainstream adoption now. It's more like I won't even say frenzy. I would like to call it the madness. AI is entering everywhere where it shouldn't be. Because why is AI in my banking app? I want to complain to the GT Bank representative, and you are giving me AI. AI will not take on my frustration. You get that kind of thing. So um, right now we're starting to have a crash again. They were starting to have a crash in AI when Gypsy came out and they said Nvidia used how many $1 million? I think half a trillion. How much did you say they spent? I think they spent $300 million on training what? On training Nvidia and OpenAI spent how much on training GPT-4 and DeepSeek came with R1, the first version of R1. And they said they spent $50,000 on it. And we discovered, I mean, the stock OpenAI and Nvidia stock first dropped. That was, I think, a drop of disillusionment in a way because they kept saying that okay, um, you need this amount of money, they need this amount of computational power to do this, to do that. And when DeepSeek came out, DeepSeek actually showed that you actually don't need this much. And so people felt like the expectations that had been built were false in a way because most of the expectations were false. And it's not that it's not that hard to build AI. So people began to lose interest in AI generally because it felt like everyone had been lying. And then DeepSeek just kept doing a lot. And so at a point, actually, the coming of DeepSeek actually created it was actually a breakthrough in technology in a way because they discovered something they called, or not that they discovered, but they brought to light something called GPT wrapping. That's the current that's the current quote unquote feature of AI. I, I don't agree with the coffee of AI. But let's move on. Still on the focus of AI, this is where I was talking about the venture capital boom and humanizing AI. So in the venture capital boom, this is when I was saying the investors creating false expectations. First of all, they were the ones that portrayed, you guess, out of enthusiasm, they portrayed things that are kind of unreal, and so this brought investments. This brought investments, and people began to expect a lot, even more than what they said they could do. Because I remember when Devin said they can write a full website from start to finish. Um, another company, another company came out and said they were training AI that would be able to create new programming languages that will be more optimized for specific purposes. You get this kind of thing. So all of this was just for it was just for capital, for investments from different companies and kind of stuff. So this forged the gold rush atmosphere, potentially leading to unsustainable valuations and AI bubble. I think if you are familiar with the term bubble, yeah, so the bubble don't burst now. Everywhere don't clear. But yeah, this AI bubble within the bubble, there is the case where the current capabilities are outweighed by the actual potential of what has been portrayed. Do you understand? Because when you were saying that AI can write a code and build a website, we're not talking about fire noodles right now, but you said AI can build a website from start to finish, and AI came out and could not even properly write a gradual interface application. These are the little issues. You understand? These are the little issues that we have. So humanizing AI, when if you listen to this, if you listen to these founders talk, if you listen to these CEOs talk, you'll be hearing them saying things like AI understands this, AI learns this, AI thinks this. So this makes people perceive AI as smarter than they actually are. You know what I'm saying? So the term anthropomorphization is basically meaning that when you try to change something from its actual form to human form, it's basically humanization. That's what the term is. So we say they're trying to humanize the technology of it. So if someone is telling you now, for example, that okay, they built a software and the software learns to do this, you start to think that okay, this is really brilliant, more than what he's actually doing. So this CEOs, these founders, they choose their words carefully, you know, to sweet tongue investors, to sweet tongue the public, the media, just for trends and for investments. Marketing and media narratives. Way AI is presented in marketing and media, it shapes public perception. You know the way I said. So to build, they carefully select headlines for sensation, to build sensation and to portray um basically their headlines are carefully selected to build sensation. You get it's to be carefully choose. Okay, when people see an headline, they want an headline that will catch the eye. They want an headline that will make people more interested in what they want. It's just like if you've had to deal with some kind of affiliate marketers. I don't know the actual affiliate marketers, but those ones I'm talking about. There's the way they'll be wording things. They will be talking about things that they are trying to make you think what they want to think, not what actually is. So this is the same thing with the marketing of AI and these media narratives. So we have the actual claims, but there are the false things that they are telling you. So when they say now that okay, AGI will be here by 2027, the first thing that probably comes to someone's mind is that okay, you're already building it, right? But it doesn't exist yet. This is sensation. This is sensation they are building. They tell you something that's not the actual message they are passing, but it's that thing that will be built up in your mind. And at the end of the day, it's messing with the world right now. And they are honestly just doing it for the fun of it, but it's really messing with the world. Because not only do you see people choosing to not study certain courses again because they think, oh, it's something that AI can simply replace. But AI actually doesn't have that capacity. AI doesn't have the capacity to do that thing. We still need people in those fields. You get people are now starting to focus on, like now, currently the kind of technologies that we have, we need improvements in them, especially in programming. But you see people they will say, okay, they're no longer learning. Some will probably say it's no longer learning probably let me use it as an example now. I want to use it as an example. Someone says no longer learning front-end development because definitely AI has said they built AI that can build a website from start to finish. So the person will now go and learn something like prompt engineering or he will go and learn data science, that kind of thing. So these media narratives are honestly like they are reshaping people's lives, not positively. I won't say it's positive because people are going into things that they really don't have the passion for. You get that kind because they think, oh, if I learn this is what I love, but if I go into it, my future is not secure. That kind of thing. So you said this marketing narratives, they're exaggerated claims. The media is just being sensational. A lot of um a lot of these hypes, a lot of this news, a lot of these narratives, we accept them without scrutinizing them. You get and people are making misinformed decisions. Not only with, I mean, though stock investment is not something that is really popular in Nigeria, but abroad you will see people running to put their money into Nvidia stocks, running to put their money into OpenAI stocks, putting their money in XAI stocks and all those things because these people just claimed that, oh, they've had this breakthrough. You get and since the hype is building, you see their stock prices starting to rise. If you have probably if you are subscribed to their stock news, you see Nvidia stock price going up by 1%. Like yesterday, their stock price went up by 1%. This morning it came down by 0.5%. 1% in stock markets is a lot. So all these kind of things, this is what they are doing it for. And sometimes you might invest wrongly. You get because if a company comes out and claims something, and then they assume that oh the stock price is going to rise because of this, we go and invest their money, and then it won't rise. So these are the problems. These are the problems. And under adolescent choices, adolescent choices, like in Nigeria now, some people came out and said AI is antichrist. Some said it's evil spirits and all sorts of things. So the way some people are portraying this AI is actually you get it might lead people to be thinking some of these things. So let's carry on. The frenzy, understanding the rush to AI and the market adoption. So despite the valid criticisms of the hype, right? Like I've said that okay, people should actually sit down and when they hear something, they should actually sit down and put it under scrutiny. They should sit down and think when someone says AGI will be by 2027, someone first analyze what is AGI and how far have we gotten to in AI. Now there are different types of AI. The one we have now is called narrow AI. I think I have it somewhere in the previous slides. So AGI is far from narrow AI. If AGI is there, then I should not have to be writing Docker scripts. I shouldn't have to be writing Docker scripts if AGI is here. And AGI will be able to solve all my dependency problems. I shouldn't have to be the one researching and doing all the things. When ChatGPT is telling that I should downgrade this version of this, when actually I'm supposed to upgrade, or it's telling me this is wrong, this is wrong. When the problem is not even in dependency problems, it's just in the integration of the systems. So what's first of all, we should always criticize. So we've gone in that okay. After we criticize, what should we do? So still on the frenzy, it says the rush is driven by the complex interplay of competitive pressure. Remember when I said OpenAI came out with GPT-4, right? And they got like millions of dollars in investments, trillions, yes, trillions of dollars in investments. What's his name? He raised how much did he raise? Do you know the CEO of OpenAI went to a meet and requested $7 trillion in investment? $7 trillion. That's how many countries gross returns? $7 trillion. So most of the things that they're doing, first thing they do is to bridge the hype. Like the way they came out to say, okay, AGI is starting out by 2027. Then like a month or 2 months later, then they'll not come and request for a very unreasonable amount in investment. All of these things. they are playing with a competition within this one. And even Google at a point was competing with OpenAI. This one will announce this one will announce this. Then some of them will request investments, their stock prices will rise, they will have problems again. They will come out to say, okay, they claimed this, but this is what they have. And all of those gibberish that they've been doing. Um, so we said the rush is driven by the complexity of competitive pressure because OpenAI is trying to say they're better than Google, and Google is trying to show they're better than Grok, and Grok is trying to show that they're better than Meta. So this competition, they are the rush is driven by this competition. Because I know we all when R1 came out, some people started using R1 instead of OpenAI. Then OpenAI dropped GPT 4.0. What's that? They have another version of 4.0. I think 4.02. Yes, they dropped GPT 0.2. And then now, the day before yesterday or 3 days ago, Google came out. They dropped the VO, which is a lava model. So everybody, this competition, it's causing like it's putting everybody under pressure, right? And people are saying, oh, and everyone is trying to stay up to date with AI. So this one comes out, they learn to use it. And it's the worst part of it is that you go to YouTube and someone will drop a 2 hours course on how to use DeepSeek R1. 2 hours course on how to use DeepSeek for what? So everyone is trying to stay up to date, right? It's just at the end of the day, the entire fence is just a mess. It's just a mess. So now, among this frenzy, there is a good thing in the frenzy, right? Like there is actually good in the frenzy. In competitive pressure, if the big companies are fighting for who is better or who is leading in the stock market or in the tech market, smaller businesses, right, are competing to adopt AI. That's a good thing in my opinion. Though a lot of them are starting to overdo it, like Citibank. I honestly don't know why that AI is in my bank app. The competitive pressure is bringing smaller companies to upgrade in a way, and we see non-experts starting to use AI to learn better things. Like me now, I was working on something the other day. I was to build a software the other day, and there was a particular framework I was to use. I did not have prior knowledge of the framework, and I used AI in less than 10 minutes to perform a full implementation of what I needed with that framework. So this is a good thing about AI within the frenzy. So if I go out now and start shouting about how good AI is, I actually mean it in a good way compared to the negative claims, in the works. So within the frenzy, there are goods to be found within the frenzy, and the actual reward successes proven in value, right? Proven in like there's proven value, sorry, in specific focus applications. Now, so this one has been existing before, but we see a lot of use in AI for cancer detection. We see it in um we see it in sentiment analysis. Though you do not know before, you can say a very simple thing on social media and your account will get taken down. But with the current kind of AI that we have, they are able to like actually they are able to make better informed decisions for the systems. And so when I say something and I mean it in a good way, and my account gets taken down, that's a problem for me. Not only do I feel bad about it, I've also lost access to a very important tool that I'm supposed to use. But with the current integration of AI with some of these systems, with the current integration of AI in some of these systems, things like this have been boycotted. You get before the way Twitter used to work, the way Twitter used to work to remove accounts was to take down accounts. It was probably someone says something and there are a lot of disagreements on it. Probably when people are turning down the accounts, what do they call it? Probably when people are clicking not interested and the likes for that particular post, the accounts get taken down. But if someone actually comes up with a controversial, if they come up with a controversial point that is actually good, a lot of people will disagree with it, but their account get taken down. That was a problem. But they have newer sentiment analysis models that are able to tell that okay, what this person said, it's not racist, it's not anti-Semitic, it's not sexist, it's none of the above. It's just something that is controversial, so the account doesn't get taken down. So that's a real value of AI, right? That's a really good value. Malware detection. It's way more advanced now. It's way more accurate now. So that's a real value. That's another get. That's something good about AI beyond the frenzy and the madness. Better still, look at in academics now. When I have a 600-page PDF that's my lecturer gave me, because it felt like, even though it did not come to class more than 3 times, I don't have to sit down to read the entire 600 pages. I can ask the chatbot, the LLM, to give me a summary, right? That's the real value of AI. Um, so I'm just trying to say that, okay, like beyond the frenzy, beyond the lies, beyond the deceptions, beyond the misconceptions, right, and beyond the market madness, there are actually good things in AI. So still talking on the reward impact and career shifts. Why the hype, of course, often overshadows actual success. AI is genuinely delivering value in various sectors, especially in health, in crude oil. So it's not listed here, but in crude oil, in the field of engineering, basically, crude oil, civil engineering, this is anomaly detection, and all those things. So it's delivering value, and this reward impact we mostly do not see it. Everybody knows about all this AI that we're talking about, but people don't know that there are AI used for cancer detection. They won't say it. It's not part of the market value. Everybody tries to market LLMs to what are chatbots. They're not focusing on the real value of AI that is used in cancer detection, is used in diabetes detection, is used in lung disease detection, right? It's used in agriculture. AI is used in agriculture. They won't talk about this ones. Is LLM that they're talking about, ChatGPT and the rest. So there's actual impact being made by AI in the world. AI aids in drug discovery, in diagnostics, personalized treatment plans, and accelerating medical advancements. Before, if I wanted to draft a nutrition plan, probably as someone that has an health condition, I needed to see a nutritionist. How many people are studying nutrition in Nigeria, first of all? And how many of the nutritionists are actually working in hospitals for us to see? But now, with the aid of AI, you can draft a nutrition plan like very fast and really accurate because most of them have a lot of and they have access to a lot of information on the internet and even in private databases that they can use in drafting these plans. Operational efficiency in the automation of repetitive tasks and predictive maintenance. It optimizes operations across industries. I think I've given an example of this. Like before now, when programmers are writing code, right? When programmers are writing code, there's something called unit testing. So when I write the code finish, I will now sit down and draft a unit test strategy for the code that I've taken like 2 weeks to write. And I have to sit down and draft the unit test strategy for that again. That's taking a lot of time. You get, and it's very inefficient. But with the aid of AI now, tasks like this can be automated. You get, not only will you able to craft the unit test strategy, but it's also able to test the code, which is it's not only does it increase efficiency, but it's like colors one's effort, right? If I'm working on something for 2 weeks and I've not seen results, it will affect me mentally. But if I work on it for 1 week and I'm seeing results, like I'm saying that okay, I've completed this task, I've completed that one, I've completed the next one. That is operational efficiency. And also, companies do not have to pay a lot of employees to do a task for something that can be automated. I mean, we don't always have to consider just ourselves. You can also think of it as a company owner. Like, if you have to pay 10 people to do something and AI offers to do it for you, you obviously you go for the AI that is doing it for free. So, it's still an operational efficiency. Career opportunities. Before, when people were going to study computer science, you will only when you ask them, "Oh, what's your tech stack?" The person will say, "Oh, I'm into QA." The person will say, "I'm into web development." Like you can go to an entire development, an entire department, and everyone here is doing web development, an entire department. But in this current um in this current timeline that we are in, you go to a department and yes, someone saying the data scientist, someone says the data engineer, this one says a machine learning engineer. This one says an AI engineer. Yes, one saying that an AI prompt engineer. So there are more opportunities that be created by AI. Apart from, I mean, a lot of people have lost their jobs, but AI has created a lot more jobs for people. You understand? So it's driving educational and professional shifts. People that will usually go and study before, so people will go and study computer engineering, but because of AI now, put on foot. You see people coming more to study computer science, and universities in Nigeria are starting to offer courses on artificial intelligence. Like if you go to University of Technology, I think FUTA is working on that. Now, funny enough, the University of Agriculture is working on that. University of Ilorin was working on it. I don't know if they still plans to do stuff like that. So all of these things, these are impacts of AI, positive impacts of artificial intelligence. And AI adoption by the numbers, as people in tech inclined, we like to speak by numbers because computers speak by numbers. So the rapid pace of AI adoption is evident in various metrics from investment figures to organizational implementation rates. Now, I would like to just summarize this because we're kind of running out of time. 37% of organizations worldwide have, as of 2023, 37% of organizations have implemented AI. And right now, I would like to say that that number is probably around 60 to 70%. If it is not integrated in their workflow, it is being used by the workers, right? If it is not integrated in their products, it is being used by the workers. So this number is way higher than we think. It's way, way higher than we think. And some people have even like automated an entire workflow with AI. So from 2023 to 2030, there was a projected growth of 26% in the AI market. 26% when you're talking about stock prices, when you're talking about growth in market, like in stock markets or generally, 26% is a lot. 26% is a real lot. So this is impact. Like this is real impact for AI. The projected value of the global AI market by 2030 is $1.8 trillion. This again, I think I don't need to talk much on this, but let's talk about the ethical part of AI. Now, even though AI has been integrated into our lives, there are considerations, ethical considerations concerning its development. Because um, if you read the news as of I think early this year, a lot of OpenAI employees, their top-ranking employees, decided to leave the company because they said OpenAI was gathering data unethically. Now I said data is required to train models, right? All of these is our using are models. To train them, we need data. So with AI in every part of our life, AI is in my bank app, AI is in my phone. If you're using an Android phone, no matter the Android phone, we no longer have Google Assistants. We have Gemini. That's AI. Um, since AI is being integrated into every part of life, I think probably it's better for us as we're in Nigeria. But there's literally nowhere you can go abroad. Everywhere you go, AI is doing one thing or the other. So there is need for accountability and control, right? Ethical laws are being drafted, like right now. Ethical laws are being drafted by international legislation, something like that, concerning the use of AI, the gathering of data, and the usage of the data. Because if US, why the US was fighting TikTok was because of data. Because they said TikTok was gathering data from the US and sending it to China. This not only do this data gathering infringe privacy, but sometimes their method of gathering data might treat some individuals unjustly. Like now, the way you use AI gather from US is not the same way you can use AI gather from Nigeria, because US has its own laws for data gathering. That's not unfair. That's not fair. Sorry, that's not fair. There's no equality in that. There's no equity in that. Because you are telling me that even though the company is in US, because their data is gathered from Nigeria, you don't care how they use the data. Like now, if you are trying to sign into your NIN mobile app, it takes a picture of you every time, right? Or OP, if you try to log in from a different device, it takes your picture. A lot of companies, especially international, those images are being taken by them. They store those images in their database and they use it to train models, to train vision models. That's unethical. It's at least if they will take your data, they will tell you that they took your data, right? So these are the problems with AI. Accountability. A lot of people are not they don't take responsibility for the way they use AI. The which month was it that someone built a robot using AI? Like robots is the hardware, basically, like it's the physical part of it. So the person built a robot, a sentry gun robot that can shoot based on color. I don't know if you understand the implication of that. A sentry gun that can shoot based on color. So basically, if you're on a war front and you command the robot to shoot all black people, it's capable of doing that with accuracy. This is you get this. There is no, and the guy wasn't even ready to take responsibility for that. The companies that own the models that I used, because there were visual models involved, there were LLMs involved, like language models. They came out to say they had no hand in it, and instead the students to court, they banned him from using their products and the rest of that. So we need people to be accountable for how to use AI. People should be responsible in the use of AI, and AI systems should be transparent in yeah. I mean, they are doing that now. When you're conversing with a model, you see them trying to explain how they're making their decisions. Anthropic developed a new framework for that, but a lot of times we do not understand how AI arrives at its conclusion. You understand? And in the kind of way, they call it the black box problem. Yeah, the AI black box. So if you don't know how AIs are making their decisions, then most times you can't trust their decisions. You understand what I'm saying? So measures are being put in place to um, just to touch all of these areas to ensure okay, there's transparency in the decision making system of AI, fairness and equity. AI systems are able to treat individuals equally because an AI that is trained majorly on white data will not like it won't react to their data. It won't operate on their data the way it operates on a black person's data. And if these systems are actually used in they're integrated into major systems, like if these models, this AI, okay, when they're integrated into call them AI systems, okay, an AI that is majorly used to seeing white people, when it sees a black person, it will have problem in communicating or in functioning properly when it's that black person that is working. And we've seen examples of it. Um, Privacy protection, that's when I said safeguarding the data of the people that are being used to train the models, because a lot of times we don't even know when our data is being taken and we don't know how it is being used. That's why a lot of companies have been suing these AI building companies. You see the rest of them, you see Reddit, you see Quora, Coiners, you see these companies. These are issues, privacy protection and accountability. So in conclusion, in conclusion, we say AI is a powerful tool. It's not sentient, it's not AGI, and it's not a threat to us. It's not a threat to us, at least to me. It's basically just complex mathematical algorithms. It's not conscious intelligence. It's not evil spirits, the way Mommy G always say. So it's just a powerful tool for us to use. If you are writing code, AI can help you to write your code faster. If you are building a system, it can help you to build your system faster. If you are thinking, it can help you to organize your thoughts and basically come to your conclusions or have your results faster. So it's a tool that should be welcomed by everyone. It should not be treated like evil spirits. AI excels at specific tasks. So what it does is to augment human capabilities rather than replacing them entirely. I said it brings color to the abilities of humans, right? So we should focus on collaboration with AI, not focusing on its ability to displace us. Do you get that's what I meant here? We should focus on collaboration, not displacement. So some people stay away from AI because they think, oh, in the next future it will replace them. And instead of them to actually learn to use AI to be more productive. So much of the extreme AI hype and fear is driven by marketing, the investment cycles and media sensation. We say we have to be discern and we have to be discerning concerning the news that we hear about AI. We have to be discerning concerning what we choose to believe. Right? So you have to think because if you say AI can do this, you should first ask yourself, what is the current AI that we have? How is it doing it? When they said AI could write a full website for us, everybody believes for the live gym. But people went to test it out themselves and they discovered, oh, it's rubbish. You understand? So we should not fall for the marketing schemes, the investment cycles, and the media sensation. We should always discern this news. For tech-inclined individuals, AI offers a lot of productivity gains and innovation. I talked about how I needed to do something using how I needed to implement something using a framework. I had no idea how to use that framework, right? But with the help of AI, I was able to do so in less than 10 minutes. These are things that you usually go and watch a course on YouTube for 2 hours, 3 hours. But with the help of AI, it's offers you innovation and productivity gains. You know, when you're trying to structure a thought, you're thinking of how to implement something. When you choose to sit and converse with AI, it can help you to organize your thoughts because it says have a large they have a plethora of knowledge in short. They have a plethora of knowledge gathered from all over the world. So when you're trying to organize your thoughts, this thing can really help in organizing thoughts. And if you want to navigate the AI landscape, it requires you to learn continuously, to be ethically aware, and focus on practical applications. So, we talked about adoption, AI adoption. So as AI continues to evolve, we also have to evolve in terms of knowledge. We have to continue to learn, right? We have to continue to learn. Now, ethical awareness, like the person that went to go and develop a robot to do something so racist, it did not have any ethical consideration regarding what it was doing. So when we're developing, if you choose to go into AI, you should have ethical considerations. No matter your idea, no matter how brilliant it is, have ethical considerations. And also, instead of wasting our energy on silly things, like that, let's focus on practical applications. You understand? Like the person that built the robot entry gun, if he had probably put that effort and energy into something else, he might have probably even created like a better world for all of us to live in. You understand? The real power of AI, I'm just wrapping up now. So I said the real power of AI lies in its responsible and strategic application to solve real world problems. It's about how we use it. It's about how we use it. If you are using AI, I don't think you can replace, like if you use AI the way it's meant to be used, it's it's not logically possible for it to replace you. If you understand what I mean. For someone who is very conversant with using AI, if this company integrates AI now into their workflow, if they see that oh, it's really conversant with this thing, they won't. I mean, they might change your role, but you won't lose that job. If you get what I'm saying. Like Google developed. You've seen the new Google dropped a lot of things this week. There was the last week, sorry, last week. I forgot it. Stitch. They called it Stitch. So people were at first when we saw a demo for Stitch, people were saying, "Oh, you are UX designers will be replaced." But Stitch is not that creative, so you can use Stitch to create a starting point for your product design and then move on with it. The only people that can be replaced in a company will probably be the people that draft the initial user journey for a product, right? In the product design department, these are the kind of people that can be replaced at the job. But the people that are actually working on like ensuring that the products are according to the user requirements, talking about the user story and the likes. This kind of people cannot be placed on their job because what Stitch is doing is basically drafting. You understand? So the real power of AI lies in its responsible and strategic application. The way I use it determines, first of all, if it can replace me or if I will continue to use it. The way I use it determines if it is good or it is bad. AI can be evil depending on how they choose to use it. Like if AI is deployed in warfare now, AI is already being deployed in warfare, but it's on the low key. But if AI is fully deployed in warfare, it should become something really evil compared to the way we're using it for good now. So I would like to wrap it up with I would like to call it a claim, a solid claim that as of now, AI cannot replace you at your job. And to back up my claim, I will bring up the at the beginning of the month the story of IBM where they laid off 8,000 workers. They laid off 8,000 workers due to integration of IBM of AI in their workflow, and in less than a week, they had to hire another 10,000 or something workers again because AI had automated some tasks and now they needed more people on the other tasks. So AI is not yet to take over everything. AI is not here to take your job. You just have to learn to use AI and to be discreet with it. Thank you very much for listening.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Shittu. I can see you have a whole lot to tell us. Thank you very much. We even went above our normal time schedule. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To everyone that
It's my
joined, we say a
pleasure.
very big thank you. I would love to do recap, but no, we are both time already. So if you want a recap, come next month, last Thursday, and you're gonna get a recap of today's session. Or better still, you can go on YouTube at Legacy Lab NG to get more info to watch the all highlights of the session. Thank you all for joining. Thank you to our wonderful partners, Google developers on Campus X2 out of Italy, Africa, and also the organizers, which is Legacy Lab. Thank you all. Thank you all once again. Have a wonderful night's rest. See ya all next month, last Thursday.